Hi everybody! Today we're making, drumroll please, a Spanish omelet, also known as a tortilla, believe it or not. And I am not making this traditional. This is certainly not, no way, Jose, not happening. I'm making it Rockin' Robin's way, which I like to add a little bit of health to my recipes, but I also love to make them taste wonderful. So that's what we're doing today. So I've decided to add a little sweet potato and just swap out a little bit of the other potato for that to make it a little healthier, a little more vitamins, just a little better. All right, and it still tastes incredibly good. In fact, I think it's even better. So I'm Rockin' Robin, and I'm gonna show you how to do it right after this. All right, so let's go over our ingredients. First up, we have our potatoes. Now I'm using a couple of gold potatoes here, which we're gonna peel and slice, and I'll show you that, and a sweet potato. So the ratio is like 2 to 1. We'll need some eggs, of course, and I'm gonna hold out on, saying how many exactly I'm gonna use until I see the volume of potatoes, because it can vary, right? The size of your potatoes will make a difference. We'll also need an onion. I'm using a yellow onion here. We'll slice that up. I'm gonna use some garlic powder, some salt. Now here in this container, you can see I've got it marked as used oil. Now I've made these Spanish omelets before, and you wanna save the oil if you don't wanna throw it away, because it's quite a bit of oil. And you'll need some maracas. Now those are optional, but they put a little pizzazz in your breakfast, and I'll show you how. So right off the bat, we're gonna take a frying pan. Now I have one here that is non-stick. It's important to use non-stick, and you wanna make sure that you have a plate that is large enough to fit completely over the top of this, because we're gonna be turning our omelet onto that plate, and it has to fit. We're gonna put our well, in my case, it's used oil. Yours might not be it might be the first time you're doing it, right? And I'm gonna pour all of that into my pan, and I'm gonna start on low heat. Now, I might add just a little more olive oil to this. Just wanna make sure I have enough. So then I'll just place these in a bowl, and we'll take them over to the pan and start cooking these first, so they have a little more time to caramelize, because that's where you get the flavor. So now we're gonna add the onions first to our hot oil. Be very, very careful when you add your onions. If they're really wet, they're gonna, water and oil don't mix, and it spits up at you. We're gonna drop these in gently, and we'll cook the onions for about 5 minutes before adding the potatoes. And I'm just gonna submerge these and let them cook. So go ahead and peel your potatoes. That includes the sweet potatoes as well. Now, here's how you're gonna cut this. You're gonna cut your potato in half, and then you're just gonna make some nice thin slices. If you cut them too thick, it's gonna take a lot longer to cook. Now the gold potato seems a little wet to me. There's a lot of water after I cut them up, and you're gonna wanna pat that dry a little bit if you can, so that you don't have the water oil mixture going on when you add them to the oil, and it spits up at you because of the water, so try and dry it a little bit. So we've got all of our potatoes ready, and we're ready to go over to the stove and add these to our onions. So you can see the onions have been cooking a little bit. They're looking pretty good. I'm going to add the potatoes to this now. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit, because once I add the potatoes, it's going to drop the temperature down. And again, we're going to be really careful when we do this. And I'm going back up to like medium heat. And we're going to cook these for about, 10 to 15 minutes, or until they get nice and soft. All right, so I'm gonna crack the eggs and place them into this bowl right here. And then when the potatoes are done, we're gonna add that to this bowl. So the potatoes and onions have been cooking now for almost 10 minutes. They're almost done. I can see that the onions are caramelizing a bit, and that really sweetens everything up when we do that. So we're gonna go a few more minutes here, and then we'll drain this oil. What you don't want to do is you don't want everything to crisp up. That's not what we're looking for here. We just want those onions to caramelize, but we want the potatoes to stay soft. All right, so now we're going to take our potatoes out carefully and the onions, and we're going to place it in this bowl with a strainer. Now we're going to whip up the eggs a little bit, scramble them. I'm going to add some salt to the eggs and some garlic powder, and then I'm going to add this beautiful mixture of onions and potatoes to my eggs. And this is where I'm going to decide if I need to add another egg to this, because I need to have enough eggs in here. So I'm just going to kind of mix everything together, but I'm going to go ahead and add that extra egg. And then I'm just going to stir it in, and we're going to let this sit for about 15 minutes. I'm going to cover this with saran wrap. You can use foil, whatever you got. And let it sit, like I said, 15 minutes. All right, so it's in about 15 minutes. Let's have a look at the egg mixture. And you'll probably notice that it has thickened up a bit, which is perfect. All right, so I got my pan. I'm preheating up my pan here. This is the same pan we used earlier with the onions and potatoes. I left a little bit of oil in the pan so that you have just a little bit in there. And then we'll pour the potato mixture right into the pan. So you just kind of want to push it down, you know, get everything nice and even, no air bubbles. Let this cook for, you know, about 3 minutes or so. Right now it's on medium-low. Now the idea behind this is we want this to be nice and golden brown on the outside, but we want the inside to be moist. We don't want it to be a dry omelet, okay? All right, now we're getting to the fun part. A little drum roll for this. We're gonna turn this over. Now this is how we're gonna do it. You do wanna have a little peek. I looked under here, it's a nice golden brown. Things are looking good. It's been about 3-4 minutes. Play it safe, turn off the heat. Put your plate on there, and we're gonna flip it over. All right, you can see here, I want to just show you on the camera here. It's a nice golden brown. Now I'm going to slide it back into that pan very carefully. And just go around the edges a little bit. We'll let that cook for another 2-3 minutes, and we'll put our flame back on to low. So here's our omelet. Okay, so now I'm gonna put it on my cutting board here and cut it on that, so I don't mess up my pan. But there it is, it's a beauty. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut into it. There you go. Smells delicious, looks beautiful. Time for a taste test. Love that flavor. I believe most of the flavor in this recipe comes from that caramelized onion. So make sure that you put it in the pan first. Let it cook 3 to 5 minutes before you add the potatoes. The flavors, it sweetens it up. It's delicious, guys. Really good. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. If you like the recipe, please give it a thumbs up. And if you decide to make it, let me know. I'd like to hear about it in the comments. So thanks again. And oh, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, of course, I would love to have you. So click the subscribe button right up there and at the end of the video, and you'll be notified when new videos come out every week. So thanks again, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to shake your maracas with your Spanish omelet.